So I want you to take a moment, take your moment, take your present, your gift. It's only yours, it's nobody else's. And just feel into the fact that your own present essence self, which is here and now, and it can't be anywhere else. You can cast your mind out, but the you stays. Your moment is your gateway. It's your bridge, it's your portal, it's your access point to every single possibility. The only caveat to this, there is a catch. And you can verify this by looking out into the world. And if you still see suffering, if you still see frustration, worry, angst, pain, any of that, that's the caveat. That's the catch. If it were something that was as simple as, I want this. I want to be successful. I want money. I want to be okay with how my own life is unfolding. If it were as simple as that, you wouldn't see any worry out there whatsoever. None. And we would be in heaven on earth. And if you don't see that, when you look out, you look at family and friends, look at the political scene, if you don't see that, it means that you're looking at the caveat. Okay? This is not to say that every single possibility and opportunity is not available to you. It still is. But the thing that you don't get to determine how the world reacts to the things that you want to do. If you want to get work, right? You know what to do. Everyone knows what to do when they're trying to find work. There's absolutely nothing stopping you from doing those things, from making action happen. Nothing is stopping you from doing that. The thing about it is, once you do the action steps to whatever it is that you want, like I'm doing chess, I want to get titled, I want to be a teacher, I want to be paid for my work, and I do action steps, but the expectations part is the part that you have to let that one go. You have to let it go. If you don't let it go, and of course you don't have to let it go, you can clutch onto your expectations of how your desires will impact the rest of the world and how it will reflect back to you. But if you don't let the expectations go, or in other words, if you don't set it and forget it, what comes back to you, what gets reflected back to you, is not going to match your perfectionist ideal of how you want it to come back. So idealism is some sort of a poison. You could call it systems. Systems are somewhat of a poison. For instance, in chess, there's what's called opening theory, there's middle game theory, there's end game theory, and it's a vast, vast body of work. It's just out there, and it's available to every single person who would like to achieve mastery with the game of chess. But there's a lot of things that come along with studying theory. For instance, if you have your own way of winning the game, and maybe a lot of it is composed of psychological tactics that, when analyzed at a bit deeper level, they're not sound. If you go and learn a lot of opening theory, and your opponent even plays into your theory, okay, and you retain this expectation, which a lot of people have, I have myself, I've fallen for this many times. It's like, oh, I remembered all these lines of theory, you know. I got the game 15 moves deep from the opening, and we're still both playing theory. And if you hold inside of your head the fact that I learned all this theory, and the fact that I remembered enough of it to get us 15 moves deep in the opening, means I should win the game, okay, well then you're gonna taint the rest of your play. And then even further, if you lose the game and you have the expectation that that theory is going to be some magic pill for you to beat everybody, you're going to be disappointed, and you're going to reflect that disappointment back onto the thing that got you to study the theory in the first place. The idea that studying opening theory is going to help me win games. Now you might take a slightly different approach to it and say, I'm going to study opening theory so I can have another added level of mastery to my games. And even if we both go 15 moves into the opening, it doesn't mean I'm going to win the game. It just means until we're out of opening theory, I have the full vast body of knowledge behind all of my moves up until the point at which I start making moves that are out of theory, which goes into just me relying on principles that I understand, tactical vision, time management, being able to control whether you're tilting or being emotionally affected by the position. It depends on whether you can transition from theory, which is kind of like a security blanket in chess, to, oh, this is a totally new position to me. I have never studied it, and I have to figure these things out move by move. It's the same thing with your life goals. The things that people say work may work for them, they may work for you, but at a certain point, you're going to be in something that's completely new and unfamiliar to you. And at that point, you have to give it up, give up the expectations, play your best, and then be happy, or rather accept the result. Whatever the game result is, accept it. The emotions of the situation are what get us into funks, because you're always in your moment. Look, I'm still here in my present moment. I can still do things, I can still make plans. All of it's always available to you, but your feelings about the things that you did and your definition of what worked or what didn't work determines whether you keep going or not, whether you keep adding new layers of understanding onto yourself or not. So that's all for today. A little bit of talking about, I guess it's about advice, because everyone has advice. Everyone loves to give advice. And, you know, the chances of one piece of advice working, like if someone says something general piece of advice, the odds of it working and then you agreeing that it worked afterward are very slim. So you have to learn how to be okay with things. You have to learn how to let things go. Set it and forget it. All right, people, take care. Peace.